HPV! It's a sexually transmitted infection or disease, depending if you like STI or STD. Cathy Bartuli from the Intimacy Dojo.
Reid from ReidAboutSex.com. And we talked a lot about different STIs and STDs.
Herpes.
Yes.
We're big fans of herpes. I am. Ask me about herpes.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have had a lot of videos and a lot of people commented on them. It was fun.
Now ask me about HPV.
What about HPV, Reid?
I'm not a medical doctor or clinician, so my advice is my advice. What about HPV? Human Papillomavirus. Great Scrabble word, if you can spell it. So HPV, it's in the herpes category, in that really hard to not transmit it or expose people to it. There's no test for penis owners if you have HPV or not.
They just recently came out in the last couple of years for females.
For females, I mean, there's always been cervical pap smears and things like that. So here's the quick breakdown in the beginning of the video. Get vaccinated with Gardasil if you're a man or a woman of any age. It is the only vaccine that we have so far that prevents certain kinds of cancer. If you are a non-vaccination person, I'm going to ask you to really do your research. I'm pro-vaccination because I think you should be. That's just me. Other people have different opinions. And I'm sure we're going to get lots of comments in the threads, some that we will have to delete. The thing with HPV is, since you can't really know if you have it, and as we're doing better testing and advice is changing around pap smears and understanding that most people's bodies, which is not very statistical, will take care of HPV on its own. Yeah, but it might
tends to flush it takes about 2 years.
But let's say 18 months to 2 years. As long as you're getting regular checkups, and that's been changing, like how often you should get a pap smear. This is where it gets tricky because we're learning more about HPV now because we have better testing and stuff. Unless
something's changed since I read it, getting the vaccine only matters if you haven't already been exposed to the virus.
Get the vaccine anyway, because you don't know which strains you've gotten exposed to.
And the vaccine only works against 4 of them.
It's up to 10 now.
Okay.
So just trust me on this one. No, you don't have to trust me because
I have not gotten vaccinated, and I probably
if you can afford getting vaccinated, get the vaccination, because it just makes sense to have it in case you haven't been exposed to one of the strands, and this will vaccinate you against it. So it's a safety precaution. It's a little bit expensive, but if it will help you alleviate some emotional concerns and your emotional safety versus physical safety, I think it's just useful, and it might alleviate some of your lover's concerns. Now, the other thing that's going to happen with HPV is assume that you will be exposed to it.
Yes.
Unless you're going to be monogamous with a partner that you know is also monogamous.
And who does not, neither of you have been exposed to HPV.
Or you just start dating and wait 2 or 3 years to make sure that your bodies have cleared whatever you've been exposed to, which you totally can do that. If you want to take that on, then you would have HPV-less sex, and you can knock yourselves out. In a world where you cannot guarantee that you won't be exposed, and being exposed doesn't mean you will catch it, here are the protocols I think you should do. Always use condoms, because that way you're not, if you're doing penis vagina or strap-on vagina type stuff, you're not, sending HPV deeper into the vagina. So wear condoms on your toys, especially if you share toys. Get checked up, get a pap smear at least once a year. Don't freak out if your pap smear is abnormal. Wait another year to go see if it's cleared up.
Well, no, if your pap smear is abnormal, listen to what your doctor says, because it depends on how it's abnormal. But if you have HPV, it doesn't necessarily mean that there's a problem or an issue that you need to...
And people would freak out that they had HPV because they're afraid it's going to turn into cervical cancer, and now there's concerns around throat cancer for those of us who suck dick. So the thing is, figure out how not to freak out.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna be, especially if you're gonna have sex with lots of different people, or sleep with one person who has sex with multiple people. There's a good chance you're going to be exposed to it. Do the emotional work so that you're not freaking out about that, and you can be an adult and be like, okay, this is what sex means. I'm going to be exposed to HPV.
That's why it's safer sex, not safe sex.
Yeah. I might get exposed to a cancer-causing strain of HPV. I might get throat cancer or cervical cancer or rectal cancer, because, again, we're getting better tests. We're not sure if it causes rectal cancer.
Yeah. Well, there's not proof for sure.
There's not proof, but there's well, maybe it does, yeah. Right? Assume that the sex you're having will never be completely safe. What do you need to feel emotionally safe, and how can you beef up your physical protocols to be safer? And then sleep with people who can handle that and who have done that figuring out themselves. And then go live your life.
Yeah, do Reid's safer sex, safer elevator speech sex. I can't talk today. Safer sex elevator speech, and decide for yourself. I've not been vaccinated. I do not choose to be vaccinated because I've been having sex for a number of years. The likelihood I've been exposed is high. A lot of people choose to get vaccinated, and that's something you should pay attention to for what is right for you. But you can choose who to sleep with. Oh, if you haven't been vaccinated and I want to sleep with you, okay, that's okay. Yeah.
And then just be aware that culture's having its way with you, and that you will probably feel something about this. Yes. What do you feel about this video? Comments. Thanks for tuning in, Sex Geek. If you would like to continue with the brain sex, do me a favor and click subscribe right here. If you'd like to watch me on social media, that's where you're going to go. Next video, maybe? And if you really would like your own Sex Geek t-shirt, please click right here, right now. Boop. No, really, like...